So, first step is a light sketch. Try following the shape of your reference eye. Make sure you just try to follow the shape of your reference image just from what you see it looks like. No pressure, and be sure to use a light sketch. And everything, the materials that I've used in this video, I will put them down below in the description. Okay. So we can now create the folds as well. But remember, just sketch as lightly as you can to leave room for error. So we can create those eye folds just as you see them in the reference photo. Okay? Remember, we're not trying to make it perfect here. We can make mistakes, it's fine. All we're trying to do is to draw something that is similar to what we are seeing. The more we try, the better we become. Yeah. Just trying to pick out these little details so that we can make everything look similar and close as possible to what our reference image shows. So we can now draw eyelashes using strokes of your pencil. Have no pressure. Again, light strokes to leave room for error. Remember, it's easier to rub off when you have done light sketches. It's difficult to rub off if the sketch are already bored. So that's just a slight tip to remember. So keep following the reference image. And now we're on to the second step, is to bring in color. When comfortable with the sketch, you can bring in color. So you can drive the color in all the regions of the eye you feel comfortable starting with, including the eye folds. So right now, we're just passing it through the shape of the eye that we made a sketch of at first. And now we're bringing suitable colors, not just any color, a suitable color to that area that we are trying to draw out. And slowly here we can darken the sketch using our color pencils. So everywhere where we need darkening, we can darken. It's okay. And remember, we are already comfortable with our sketch. So now we don't need to erase. All we need is to go forward. So something you might have to keep in mind here is you might have to use different techniques on how to switch colors to suit the outcome of your reference image. So the color pencils you pick, the way you blend them or mix them, it will help in the best projection of what your drawing will look like, or how close your drawing will look to the reference image. So what you can do, just a side tip, what I also used to do and what I still do at times is always on your table as you're drawing, keep a piece of paper just on the side where you also have your color pencils and all that as you're drawing your main drawing. Keep a small piece of paper, and the reason you have that piece of paper on the side is so that whenever you are challenged with a situation, as we have seen here, trying to know which colors I can blend or I can mix in order to produce that soothing color that is on the reference image that seems to be difficult to understand, we can use that small paper on the side. We can just grab a pencil, a color pencil that we see suits to be part of the formula of that part of the eye that we're drawing. We scrub it on there, we try to see what color it has, and then we pick the other one that we think also suits to blend with that one in order to produce that color that we need, and we mix them up on there. Then we can tell just from intuition at first which colors we can pick out to try, and if they come off right as we actually do the practical work on that small paper, then good. You can go ahead and now use them on your actual drawing. And as you can see here, we're now making everything bold, bringing in the boldness because we're comfortable with the sketch, and we're now going into detail. So that's a little tip that you can keep in mind. Always have that little piece of paper on the side. You see? So increasing on color, trying to blend, and so we can test it out on that little paper on the side. You test the color out, and then you can mix it with the other color, and if it comes off, sometimes you might need two colors, well, mostly two, but at times it might even go to 4 colors. That's where paper type comes into play, because A4 paper, such as the one that I was using in this video, might be a little bit of a challenge because it can't take so many layers. It's quite difficult. But if you're just using basic tools as I was doing in this video, then A4 would still be okay to go with. Not super professional for beginners, yes. When you get a hang of it, then you can now deviate or get on to more advanced things and types of paper, pencils, and so on. So as you can see, we're now trying to work on the folds, trying to get more into detail on the folds. Now we're darkening where we can. So it's almost all the same. It's the art itself is difficult, or at least it seems difficult to most people. You might see someone doing it here as I am doing in this video, and then you will feel intimidated most of the time. Most of the time you get intimidated, and when you do, you tend to feel a sense of you can't do it by yourself, or I can't do it. I used to feel like that mostly whenever I go on social media, check out Instagram. I would see all these fancy drawings, all these people using these techniques and so on. And I'm looking at myself, I truly love the art, but can I get up to these people's standards? Could I ever achieve this level of capability that they have right now? But the one mistake that I was making was comparing someone else's middle to my beginning. So you can't do that. Definitely comparison will be the thief of joy at that point. So, and that's something that I got from a YouTuber by the name Sean Cano, runs Think Media. He says comparison is a thief of joy. So you compare yourself so much, then you get into this loop of, I don't think I can do this, I'm not good enough, I won't be able to ever try push my art level to a much higher level. It'll be difficult, but that's not how it is. So it's just focus on yourself, put in work, then it will pay off, honestly. And if you really love something, it will pay off. So even here, you might be total beginner. You might think it's very difficult to do what I'm doing. It's not. I can tell you that for a fact. It's not. It gets easier as you practice. It gets easier. Because of course, knowing you might know, but the practice is different. That's another thing. So I also used to put in work. You do this drawing, you do that drawing, you do this drawing, and so on and so on. I have been doing this for years. So it gets easier as you go. It doesn't even need to take you ages, years, more than no. It's just the amount of work you put in and how much you really want to improve in it. And now we move on to the third step, which is to focus on the eyeball. Now we start with the iris. We start with the iris and we start with a sketch again, but this time we can continue using color pencils. We can continue using color pencils. And we will begin with the pupil. We begin driving into the pupil slowly, as you can see, and we're making it dark. So making it darker than the surrounding. So tribal means to darken the pupil. So just like that, as you can see on top of that arc, the arc of the eye, when you see that top part, it's dark, very dark. And so we are trying by all means, from what we are seeing, to imitate the color there. So first of all, like I said, we darken the pupil itself. And we only leave the light parts light. Darken it up as much as we can. And then remember, let's darken the upper part of the eyeball with respect to our reference image. That's how it is. We have to darken it up. The same arc of the upper eye. That will give us more depth into making our reference image eye and our drawing really, really close. And also, we can begin to now drive our color into the iris. So we also want the iris to get that color. Again, judging by the color that the reference image is showing there, we can blend or mix, have a collaboration of different colors and so on. So we draw the web-like structures of the iris, and we include the different colors our reference photo shows. So we try by all means to use the reference image to the fullest extent, where we can get a full projection of what we are to put on our drawing. That way, we don't veer far away from our actual reference image in our drawing. So if you want, you can even bring in pencil. You can actually bring in pencil to add in extra darkness and realism. You can do that. But remember one thing. Remember not to let the border of the iris be lined. Instead, make them fade. So don't line them, have them fade. If they are faded, it's good for you because they will look realistic. And now you can continue adding in darkness to parts that require it. Just add in darkness. You can use your HB pencil, B pencil. Here I was using basic tools, so there's no excuse here, guys. Even if you just don't want to draw, you're saying you don't have a pencil, look at what I'm using. But we can still produce a good image with this. That's A4 paper, and that's an HB pencil. HB pencil. So yeah. So add more darkness as compared to the reference image. Try to blend in colors. I'm using blue, I'm using orange, I'm using even the dark one itself from my HB pencil. Again, all for that realism. Same mechanism. Just making light strokes. Just light strokes to create those webs in the iris. So darkening again, making more darkness in there. The parts that require it. Remember, still applying darkness to where it's needed. More darkness, more darkness, more darkness, only to where it's needed. And now we jump into the fourth step, which is the cornea. So we edit the cornea. And here we can now add the blood vessels in the cornea and tune up any colors needed in there. So we make sure the cornea is set. We bring in again blending of colors with our paper on the side. Remember, whenever you're having challenges with, what colors am I going to mix? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? What am I going to use here? Just make sure you already have that little piece of paper. It will help you diffuse a lot of problems quickly without you having to stand up, do this, do that. You'll be sorted out. So here we bring in everything that is in the cornea of the eye, or at least on the cornea of the eye. Bring in whatever color that we see in the reference image. Try by all means to imitate it. And already our eye is coming out looking safe, looking good. Hopefully you're enjoying the classroom we're having now. And let me know in the comments if you are. It's quite important to keep us making more and more content. Now we're moving into the fifth step, which is polishing. Polishing is the fifth step. Now at this step, we want our work to look on point. So we're adding in more color where needed, making bold lines, darkening where possible. Overall, we want a refined final look for our drawing. As simple as that. And for sure, now we are done. I'll see you in the next classroom. But just take care. Bye.